Hey, this is Matt with Let's Talk Music. I'm here with Craig and Robin of the Yets. They are joining us today from beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. How you guys?
Yoo-hoo.
Hey, Matt.
Hey.
So the Yets, like I said, we was just talking previously. I just started working with your publicist, and she sent this across to me, and I really enjoyed it. Phase to Gray as a really cool song. That's your latest single, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about the song. What's the story behind it?
Well, we just someone just wrote a write up about it not too long ago, and the where he came from was really interesting to me because it was not what I wrote the song about, so to speak. About how everything ages and loses its color, and seasons, things change. Fade things fading out. I originally wrote the song actually for somebody who had passed away,
No.
and it's about how their life was so wonderful, beautiful. I say in the song, and then it faded out. So that's initially what the song was about, but it can have a much broader scope. Which I like that. I like that someone can interpret a song completely differently than what the original meaning was. But how would anyone know? I mean, the only difference is I spelled it with Gray, which was what her name was, as
Oh,
opposed to the color Grey. So yeah.
and I mean, it's music it's an interpretation, and it's a lot of times. Um, I feel like myself, I have a trained ear, so like I can pick up on the meaning of songs a lot. It's not so much of um, thinking out of the box. I can pick up what the artist is talking about, but you can come up with a lot of different ideas of what the song's about. I mean, and I've been wrong. I mean, when excuse me, I'm coming down with a cold. When my first time I ever heard Master of Puppets from Metallica, I thought it was about, the devil. I had no idea it was about cocaine, but yeah, it was right there. Chop your breakfast on a mirror. So I mean, interpretation is wide open when it comes to music.
Yeah, we love Metallica, by the way.
Yeah, me too. That was like the first metal band I ever got into, the first metal concert I ever seen. Went and seen them back in the '90s on their Black Album tour, and yeah, they played for 2.5 hours straight, and I was in heaven.
We just saw them not too long ago in Atlanta. It was so awesome.
Yeah, yeah, they're a great band, but we're talking about the Yets. Hell with Metallica.
Yeah, they don't need any more publicity.
Right, right. They don't need us hyping them up. They got enough. So
Exactly.
I see you got a nice line of guitars back there. Looks like maybe a couple of Gibsons.
One. Got one Gibson.
Okay.
What what else?
Zoom. Can't zoom it is cheating.
I'm gonna say it's the second one from the left.
The, see my finger sticking out?
Oh, okay. The old one.
Well, that's that. Yeah, it's actually an ES Les Paul. It's a combination ES 335 and a Les Paul. It's like a hollow body Les Paul.
Okay. One next to it looks like a Fender.
That's a really good guess. Except
Really?
it lives up here. I shouldn't say that, Fender, but that's a Tom Anderson.
Okay. So like, are they all different, or what's your brand of choice, man?
My weapon of choice, more. Um, no, it's my actually either one of my PRSs or one of my Tom Andersons,
I've
or
been
my.
hearing a lot about PRS.
I've been playing PRS guitars for a long, long time. As I've had tons of them, and they're amazing. I've had all the way from SEs, which are the low version, cheapest entry level, all the way up to custom shop, and it's they're nice guitars, but to each his own. And I trade them around. That's why I have them hanging around. It's because I'll grab one that does this, I'll grab another one that does something else.
Well, that is a very nice display you got there.
Thank you.
So
God is good.
tell me about the Yets. I mean, how did it start? How did you come up with the name?
Go ahead.
Well, she came up with the name actually. We we had decided that we were going to do music together. We weren't sure what the format of it was going to be, everything else. And we decided, well, we're going to do a duo. And then it became, well, what are we going to call ourselves? And we're both very spiritual, philosophical people. And in thinking about life and where life has brought us at this point, there were a lot of things, bad things that never happened to us yet. There was a lot of good things that never happened to us yet. And we realize that we have our lives out there in front of us, to live. And we stay between these lanes of the yets because there are good things that haven't happened yet and bad things that haven't happened yet. And we push through. So it's kind of a life statement, if you will, in a way that we live by. It's living by gratitude and hope and everything like that steers away the yes.
Awesome. So when did you guys start?
Gosh, well, I've been doing music forever. And I grew up in South Carolina and then ended up moving to Atlanta, and I was in a band there. And then I ended up moving back to South Carolina and was introduced to Craig through a mutual friend. And we discovered that we both were in college at the University of South Carolina at the same time. He was in a band, I was in a band. We knew about each other's bands, but neither one of us had seen the other person's band, and we never met. And it's just bizarre how many years later we run into each other here and we're like, wait a minute, you were in college. His college was above mine. Mine was like in the basement of his college. I was a media arts major, so we were like, the weirdos. But yeah, so we talked about it off and on. And then during COVID, I guess it was, which how many people say that?
Yeah.
We just started messing around with it. And, it just grew from there. And we spent we live at the beach. And I think we went to the beach twice last summer. We used to go all the time because we were in the studio. We record in this room. And we just love it. We just have had the best time recording and writing. And it's different than how I had done it in the past. Back before you could do it yourself, you had to go into a studio and pay thousands of dollars to do anything. Now it's just at your fingertips. Anyone can do it. And it's turned into just this whole thing. We just love it. We love writing. We've already started working on our next release, and it's awesome. But I think we should definitely go to the beach more this next summer.
Hey, I feel you on that one. I love it.
Yeah. Everyone should go to the beach.
Yeah, I'm a water baby. When the last cruise we went on, we was down it took off out of Port Canaveral, and we stayed in a hotel that was probably, I don't know, maybe 5-6 miles from the port, but we went down to the beach and I just played in the ocean for probably a good hour and a half. And my wife come up to me and she's like, you look like you're enjoying yourself so much. And I was like, this is my heaven on earth. I love the ocean. I love the beach. I mean, I'm just, if I could be, I'd be like Sammy Hagar. I'd be a beach bum. But,
yeah.
Or whoever else that likes to hang out on the beach. But I mean, it's nice to just, I think sometimes the beach, not even so much the beach, the ocean puts so much in perspective, because you look at the ocean and how big it is, and it lets you know how small we are. And, it's just really cool that, we're existing on the same plane as that. And I think I find tranquility in the ocean. I love the sound of the waves. Anytime that, we went down to the Outer Banks once and stayed for a week, and the entire time I had the window open because we were right on the water, and I just, it knocked me out. I mean, there's not a sleeping pill or anything, around that can do, you know, put you to sleep peacefully as that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I feel you on the, more time at the beach, but hey, plenty of time in the studio has done you well, because like I said, I mean, you guys got quite the list of songs going, and they're all kick ass. I mean, I love your voice for one.
Thank you.
I've talked to a lot of singers, and I'm doing a lot of interviews across the pond, and I'm dealing with women from Italy and Finland and stuff that are classically trained in opera, and you're right up there with them with your voice. It's a very,
Thank you.
very soothing voice.
Thanks so much.
So when you guys do this, it's obviously the two of you. Do you set in the studio and create all of the other music, or do you have a background band that comes in and plays?
No, he does it all.
Okay.
Well,
I'll play
we do it.
I'll play some keyboard stuff. But he is definitely the primary songwriter. And I mean, he'll get up at 4 a.m. and I'll get up, 7 o'clock and come in here, and he's written a whole song with it's just unbelievable. And I'll come in and he'll have his headphones on, and I'll scare him half to death. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I just wrote a new song and I cannot wait to hear it. And he's like, it's not ready yet. And that drives me crazy, because I just, I hear some of the he'll write something, and I mean, I'll immediately hear it. I'll hear the melody line. Some songs are harder than others, but it's just it's so exciting to me, because I'm used to being in a band where the band writes the song, and then I sit around while they're noodling on their guitars, and then I have to come up with something. It's a completely different creative process how we're doing it. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm glad you like it. That's awesome.
It sounds like you guys got a hell of a chemistry, and that's important in any sense. I mean, especially when it comes to music. I've loved so many bands that have split up due to egos and just, lack of a better word, dumb shit. I'm like, are you guys freaking kidding me? You guys were so like Skid Row is one of my favorites, and I'm like,
Yeah. We just saw them in Vegas, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not the same without Sebastian.
No, it was like really sad. But we saw the Scorpions, and they were awesome.
See, that's one I've never seen. They've always eluded me. Every time they've been in town, something has happened that they either canceled or whatever. Like the last time they was with Tom Kiefer, and a couple other local bands, and they ended up canceling for some reason. I think it was the singer or something came down with his voice or whatever. So the rest of the bands played the show for free. They gave refunds to everybody and stuff. And I mean, I ended up getting in for free because I wasn't even going. But yeah, I mean, they've always eluded me. I mean, that's one of the bands, them, Motley Crue. Yeah, it just, that's my era. I grew up in the early 80s, late night, or the 90s. I was born in late 70s, and I mean, the hair metal was it for me. And I miss them bands so much. Like, we actually have a town here, and it's just outside of Columbus, called Pickerington, and they have every year a thing called Picktown Palooza, and like Jackal's going to be there, Lita Ford, Vixen, uh, Steelheart, Lynch Mob. I mean, it's a hell of a lineup. I'm like, man, I want to get interviews with all these guys. I've already talked to Mike from uh Steelheart, but it's just like, I remember seeing them guys in concert when I was a kid and shit, and I'm like, well, teenager, and I was like, man, love to talk to these guys. But it's just so much fun to talk to musicians, and you guys are, he's over there clapping. I'm like, man, you guys are in the same stuff as me. So hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah, we are.
I say I'm gonna have to start pulling out bullseye and pointy guitars.
Oh, we have, yeah. There's more guitars all on the wall up here, and there's yeah, but you don't have any flying V's anymore.
No, all the pointy guitars are gone. I got too old. I might fall down and hurt myself with one of those things.
Right,
Nah.
right. You remember Warlocks? BC,
Oh yeah,
BC?
I had a couple BC Riches in my. I actually had the triad. I had a Warlock, I had a Mockingbird, and a bitch.
Yeah, yeah,
I liked them all, but they can't all coexist. They have to come in and out of the fold.
yeah. And see, my thing is like I used to go to concerts and you'd see the guitar rack and you got like 5, 6 guitars lined up there. And I thought, okay, it's just the guitarist showing off his guitars. I didn't know they were tuned for specific songs. So that was something I learned over the years, because I mean, if you ever watched the documentary on Rat, they're talking about when they was doing the solo together and Robin Crosby grabbed the wrong guitar and it was just completely out. So, but yeah, I mean, so what are you guys, are you releasing an album? Have you already released an album?
Well, we've just released the EP, and we are releasing an album. It's in the works.
Okay.
The songs that you have are off of our debut EP. It's just the Yes.
Okay.
And it's a 6-song EP. And we released that. One version came out, I think, end of October, maybe, and the official release was in December. And then there's 4 videos. We've got 4 singles off there already, and 4 videos up on YouTube that go along with those. And that's where that's at right now. So we'll probably release one more single off that, one more video, and then we're gonna roll right into the next album because we've already started working on it. So
awesome. And when you got your studio right there, I mean, it's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, it's great.
So, what about getting out and doing shows?
We talk about it. I don't know how we would pull it off because we have so many parts to the songs.
Gotcha.
We need like an orchestra, but I mean, it's not completely off the table. But that's a nut. That is so fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This is awesome.
we would love to do it. It's a logistics question at this point.
Right.
How do we pull it off? There's a lot. Today there's so many angles that you can use to make something like that happen. We're trying to consider well before we make a decision about what we're going to do on something like that. But you never know. We might just get crazy and pull a straight up rock band or something and show up somewhere and play. I don't know.
Oh yeah. That's that's how music works. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, I talked to so many bands like, well, it's this and this we're talking about and doing this and it's just making it happen. Like somebody sent me a band from Switzerland today and they're doing their first North American tour and the closest they're going to be to me is Pittsburgh. And I'm like, I played it for my wife and they're like a dark symphonic metal and it's a female singer and I mean they're phenomenal. They're called Elaine. And I was like, would you, if I can get this interview, would you go with me? And she's like, yeah, I guess, after she heard him, because she's not much of a concert fan. The reason that I do this is because of her. She, I always talk to her about music, and she was like, I'm not into it like you are. Why don't you start a blog? So I started a blog. Then I thought, hey, why don't I try to interview bands? And now, I think you're my 147th.
Awesome.
Wow, that's great, man.
Yeah, like last year. So I love it, man. I love music. I love what you guys do. I appreciate what you do. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't have the greatest freaking thing we have in the world, which is music. So thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, we is about out of time. And I again thank you for everything. thank you for being on, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah,
Thanks, we would like that.
we'll reach out when we have our full length, and we'll come back on and
Yeah, we'll come
chat.
back. If you'll have us, we'll come back and
Oh
talk
yeah,
about
I'll have
it.
you. Definitely. Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Well, have a good
Absolutely.
evening and enjoy the beach.
Okay,
Great.
thank
Be
you.
good in Columbus, man.
All right, buddy. Later.